All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys are having a great day wherever you are and whatever day it is for you. As always on the podcast, it is Friday, so we're bringing that Friday energy to you guys. It's a good day for a second reason because we have Ben Reinberg with us on the podcast. He has tons of experience in commercial real estate, and he also wrote the book Hard Assets and Hard Money for Hard Times. It is going to be an interesting episode, a lot of experience to go into here. So I'm super excited. Ben, thanks for hopping on the show.
Gabe, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it and look forward to adding value to your audience and helping everyone not only learn about the in and outs of real estate, especially commercial real estate, but also inspire them to get involved and start building their own empire.
Perfect. I love it. So before we get started, I always go back to the beginning. We always start with stories. We like to hear how people got to where they are. I know you've been in real estate for a long time. You've done tons of transactions. So you're going to have to harken back to the very beginning and just tell us, how'd you get started in real estate?
Well, how I got started in real estate, I'm from Chicago. That's where my headquarters are. I sit in my West Coast office in Newport Beach. Been out here for about 4 years, but my whole life and home is Chicago. That's where I'm from. That's where my family is from as well. And so I started the business in Chicago. I started when I was in my early 20s. I realized that building hard assets is the key to wealth. And I'll tell you why. In Chicago, we have some of the most prominent families in the world between the Crowns, the Pritzkers. The list goes on and on. And how do these people build wealth? Well, it's the old age formula, as I say. It's in hard assets. And predominantly hard assets for them was commercial real estate. And so for me, I was looking to build wealth, create certainty in economic uncertain times like we're going on now and geopolitical risk. And I saw these things, Gabe, and I said, okay, well, what can create wealth and sustain itself throughout the test of time in different cycles? It's commercial real estate. And so I got involved in commercial real estate. I'm also a CPA, and I realized I wanted to build cash flow. And what's interesting is I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad 3 decades ago. And I'll tell you why this is relevant to my life. And it's an interesting story how it can help people and your listeners. So I read this book by Sharon Lechter and Kiyosaki, and it was really Sharon's story. And
really? I didn't know that.
So Sharon, so it talked about cash flow and building cash flow through assets. And I said, well, that's what I want to do. And immediately I got into acquiring real estate. I acquired a 95,000 square foot industrial building in Chicago, sold it for 3x multiple, and that's what launched me. But what was interesting about that book was it gave me a lot of life lessons as well as my first deal. What's interesting is I fast forward today after billions of transactions as a principal, we built over 12 million square feet of office industrial. We are office, industrial, retail, multifamily as well. We just launched this past year. We're one of the leaders in medical office investing, and that's why people come and invest in the Alliance Medical Fund. We have numerous high net worth accredited investors that want to invest with us because of our 30 plus years experience, mid 20s, high 20s internal rate of return on all our asset classes, depending on what you invest in. The list goes on 200 plus years of leadership team experience outside Ben Reinberg. So that's why people come in our universe. But at the end of the day, when I talk about this new book I wrote, Hard Assets and Hard Money for Hard Times, the reason why it's relevant is because Sharon Lechter wrote my foreword. Think about it full circle, how I got into the business, and then the person that inspired me to get in the business wrote my foreword. Imagine if you're listening to this podcast and I inspire you to invest passively in commercial real estate, whether it's with Alliance or some other sponsor with experience, or you start going on your own and you want to make a career just like I did. I hope I inspire you just like Sharon did for me. And the reason why hard assets are important, I want to explain this to people, is that it's proven over time. Okay, you're talking to someone that has used hard assets to build an empire. The reason why I wrote this book was for you, not for me. I didn't need to write it, but I wanted to develop something, a blueprint. I call it the hard asset blueprint. The hard asset blueprint gives you the ability where you can start building. You could be broke all the way to a billionaire. Everyone will be able to use it, where you'll be able to use it and look at your empire and say, what do I need to tweak? And the reason why I created it was I want you to build, retain, compound, and defend your hard assets and your empire. And that can include real estate, like we're talking about. And hard assets could be cryptocurrency, it could be oil and gas, gold, silver, platinum, commercial real estate, residential real estate, whatever your bailiwick is. But one of the key things I talk about, okay, especially if you're out there and you want to get into real estate, commercial real estate, or you want to invest with someone like Alliance, like what we do, is you want to pick a niche of what your career is. So if your career is you're an engineer and you like real estate, great. And you say engineering is my go-to, that's where I make my living. Invest your capital in smart money. Always invest in smart money. If you want to build an empire, you need to invest in smart money. It's why people invest in Alliance, my company, for commercial real estate. It's why people invest with different fund managers for crypto and hedge funds and these different, because when you can invest with smart money, you can value your time. One of the things that people don't talk about, especially in real estate investing or in any type of industry, no matter who you are listening, is time. Time is your most valuable asset. We do an exercise in my office with my leadership team. We bring them in. A couple of years ago, the average life expectancy was 77 years old. Now, I know that could be older with technology and et cetera, but I want you to listen to this example. I'm 55 years old. So if you take, so everyone on this is listening to this probably understands math. 77 minus 55 is 22 years left of my life. Multiply that by 52 years. We'll take out the old school adding machine.
We're gonna have to
on me. So it's 1144 is how many weeks left I have in my life. Someone that's
You
younger.
mean 1,144 weeks?
Yes.
I always I like to hear it in weeks because it makes it a little bit more relevant, because you can sense a week passing, and if you're like, shit, I only got 1,000 left of these, that's not a lot.
So here, let's go deeper on this. So for everyone listening, let's say you're 30 years old and you're out there listening, right? And so now you got 47 years left, right? Now think about it. You're interacting with me. Let's say I'm your boss or I'm an investor or you're investing in me, whatever. My decisions are different than you. So you have to seek the truth in what other people are saying, because you got to understand that concept of time, how valuable people's times are. So if you're out there in real estate, okay, and you're dealing with a seller that's a lot older than you, or a buyer, or different ages, different generation, understand the time game, because the decisions are differently. That's how you get deals done too, to build your hard asset empire. And so,
go a little bit deeper into that when you say understand the time game, in terms of dealing with somebody like a seller who is older. I'm 38. Say I was buying something from somebody who's 64.
That's right. His way of communicating is differently. Let's say you're dealing with a veteran from that generation or a baby boomer, say in this market. Their decisions are different. Their work ethic's different. They have less time to play games. They might not want to go through 10 rounds of negotiating because they're trying to get a deal done. They don't have the patience.
Yeah.
You have to understand who you're dealing with in the generation, and you have to understand who they are as a person. And knowing how old they are is very important, because that will help you understand, how do I deal with this certain situation? And so you're going to deal with emotional levels. How mature are they? And so understanding that's important. The other thing too is, if you have employees for everyone out there, or you're going to build a business, you need to understand your employees, how they operate. So for example, my decision tree, because I have 1144 weeks left in my life, I might spend my time on people that can get deals done, that are grade A players, that are going to build wealth quickly with me. My decision tree is less. It's different. So you have to understand that, because it does impact your decisions, but also will impact how you deal with people, Gabe. That's why it's important. So when we do that exercise, and we have someone on our leadership team that's maybe in their 30s compared to a lady who's in her late 40s, the way they process and look at things are a lot different. They have different priorities. They have different time needs. And so understanding time, it's your greatest asset. It's just your absolute greatest asset. Understanding time and how it works is so important, because when you have, I'll give you an example. Let's say you're listening out there and you have parents, God willing, your parents are still alive. If you have 1,000 weeks left of your life and your parents live in Chicago and you live out in California, and you say, wait a minute, I have 1,100 weeks left to live. How much am I willing to spend with my family? How important is it to me? So if you want to talk about how it impacts you personally in your business, those are the decisions you got to make. And so people forget about time. We talk about, well, how do I invest in commercial real estate? How do I structure deals and everything? But one thing that people lack in their business to scale is, how do I deal with my personal life and how do
Yeah.
I make decisions? And so that will help you in your real estate investing. It will help you when you're investing with an alliance, is understanding time, how valuable it means. And if you really look at it, and I did this exercise with one of my team members today, I said, one exercise I did with one of my mentors years ago was, he made me document for 2 years straight, every 15 minutes of my day, 7 days a week for 2 years straight. It was tough. It was cumbersome. It was due every week, my homework. But what it taught me was, where was I screwing around during the day? Where was I not maximizing my time? And so for everyone out there listening, is that if you want to invest in real estate, which is really a time-based game, whether it's commercial or residential, is also understand the truth of the people you're dealing with and understand it, because time is your biggest factor. And as I say, time kills deals. It does, because time is extremely important if you're going to grow a real estate empire.
Yeah.
And that those little things no one really talks about, but it's
Yeah.
the foundation of how to really grow and scale your business.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. Time is it's such a limited commodity, and it's not a commodity, but it is the most limited resource that we have. So taking that into consideration, for someone, let's say they're interested in commercial real estate, they want to get started, they haven't done a deal yet, and they're thinking about what asset to get into and how to launch their business, how to launch their commercial investing business, with the limited time that we have. What is the advice that you would give that person?
I would say the number one thing, especially in commercial real estate, to give you an example, is I would pick a niche and I would do it within your own area. I would keep it simple.
Mm.
So, for example, if you're from Chicago, like I was, you have a lot of different asset classes you can get involved, but you might live in an area where self storage is needed. So you focus on self storage, or maybe it's multifamily. And I would start small and do your first deal, syndicate it, learn how to do that, how to raise equity, learn how to package a deal, understand the market fundamentals. I would start locally or regionally, where you can actually drive to the property or the
Mm.
piece of dirt or whatever you're doing. Because what's going to end up happening is, you're going to have investors you want that are probably going to want to invest in that deal. And it's going to, because you're young and you have no money and no experience, the deal's going to have to stand on its own. And what is important is that if your investors can go drive and see it and it's close enough.
Mm.
So you want to shorten the learning curve and make it easy and less painless to raise money, debt, etc., filling the capital stack. I always suggest start local or regionally, find a niche that's relevant to your area to focus on that. And so, being from Chicago at the time, I said I didn't want to get into multifamily. It was too competitive at the time. I want to get involved in industrial and office. And that's what I did. And that's how I separated myself. So look at your area, look at what's in demand, look at what asset classes make sense, and then start locally. That's what I would suggest.
Nice. I like it. So you've already mentioned your local environment. Let's talk about just the bigger environment that we exist in today, higher interest rates, uncertainty in the market. What do you see in terms of the biggest opportunities that are coming down the pipeline?
Well, there's trillions of dollars of loans coming due. And we opened a multifamily division about 8 months ago for a reason. We think there's going to be great buying opportunities. I think there's going to be opportunities in every asset class with all the loans coming due and lack of liquidity. Sellers are going to need to sell if they have a loan coming due. The other thing is, or people might be working out loans. The other thing that people need to note is that you're going to have sale leaseback opportunities. People are going to need cash where the cost of capital is way too much to put financing on, maybe for new equipment or expansion, and they want to sell a facility. So sale leasebacks are going to be relevant in a higher interest rate market, which is opportunistic, long-term leases, good credit. And then you'll have opportunities to buy deals. There should be a really good market to buy deals in the next 6 to 8 months.
Nice. And is there any specific asset class that you see greater opportunity? You've mentioned retail, you've mentioned office, multifamily. Which of those asset classes, industrial too? Which of those asset classes are you most excited about?
Well, I'm excited. We're going to get back into industrial heavily.
Mm,
We think with what's going on in manufacturing and distribution going to increase in this country, it'll be a good moment for us to get back. We feel multifamily is opportunistic. We started a hard money lending division as well. We're doing a private credit fund to help people in commercial real estate with liquidity. We think there's a lot of different opportunities. I think you can find opportunities in any niche right now in commercial real estate if you put some time into it.
nice. I like it. Um, so on the topic of industrial, it sounds like that's how you first got started. Why was that the one you chose? Industrial, I feel like is something not a lot of people think about. It's not. I mean, I guess now it's a little bit of a sexy asset class, but it's something I just don't see as a first time asset. Why? What brought you to it in the beginning?
Well, if you've been in the business a long time, especially you're in Chicago, which is a 24-hour city, which means three shifts. It's like Seattle, Miami, New Orleans, Raleigh, Durham, etc., port cities. And industrial, there's just a huge industrial market in Chicago.
Mm,
And when I was growing up in the business, some of the largest corporations in the world were based in Chicago. And
mm,
so industrial was very relevant. And it's in the center of the country. It's one of the largest cities in the country, one of the most sophisticated with technology at the time. And so for me, industrial made a lot of sense. I wanted to separate myself. I didn't say, well, I have a lot of colleagues in multifamily in the city of Chicago. I don't want to be competing with everyone's son. I want to do something different. So I did some research. I saw industrial had a great opportunity, and that's what I took advantage of when I was younger.
yeah, makes sense. All right. Well, we are running down the clock. And so we will have to jump into the quick question round soon. But before we do that, I want to hear a little bit more about your book, Hard Assets and Hard Money for Hard Times. Give us a quick synopsis. What can people expect when they read it? And what was your main message that you wanted to get across?
Well, it's something I always wanted to do, and I realized it's part of our overall strategy. What I wanted to do is the reason why I wrote the book is for years people were asking me for advice. What do I invest in? How do I protect my assets? Can you look at this deal and review it and see if it's viable? How do I get involved in investing in commercial real estate with you? The questions were so consistent and constant throughout my career. I said, we need to do something about it because most people don't know how to build a hard asset empire or how to invest in hard assets. I realize we have an Alliance Medical Fund. Most doctors don't understand how to invest in medical properties. So I said, well, we got to go a step deeper. So we created the hard asset blueprint, which is in the book, and it allows people. It's very visual. It's very actionable. So it allows anyone in the world to pick it up and to use it. And it's one of these books I wanted to write where it was you could pull it off the bookshelf every week, every month you want to look at your hard asset blueprint and say, what do I need to tweak? What do I need to defend, compound? How do I grow it? How do I add this into my empire, my fortress? And you build your own fortress. What's nice is we also talk about data and privacy and succession planning and asset protection, all these things. And we identify the different hard assets out there you can invest in. And so I wanted to write the book to create impact for people saying, how do I do this? Because no one talks about it. And so I saw a gap and I said, most people in commercial real estate and real estate don't want to give you the secrets. But here's what I've learned is that since I've been online and my own TV show, I own it, and all these great things we're doing to help teach and educate the public, it's produced more investors, more deal flow, more gratification in what we're doing. And it builds a legacy out there of who we are and the hard work we put in. And so the book is a great tool if you want to learn how to build wealth and generational wealth, which is what I teach you. That's what the book's about. You have a blueprint in there, shows you how to do it, how you have your capstones and your keystones and your walls and your foundation and your vaults and your succession plans and asset, all these different things, taxes, how to mitigate taxes. We touch everything. And the book is not about stories. I will give you some more stories I've been to and the lessons that have come out of it as you're building your hard asset empire. But one of the things, Gabe, I'm very clear on and transparent on is building hard assets is not for the faint of heart. It's work. You got to show up and do the work. and you got to be persistent and reliable and have integrity, and all these things help. But it takes work. It's not you're going to snap your fingers. This is a book, and here it is. This thick ass book that I'm selling for the public is for you to be able to take it and use it as a tool for the rest of your life. And we will have courses to teach you how to build a hard asset empire. So what's happening? Here's the domino effect. Every registered investment advisor, financial advisor, accountant, attorney, they're buying bulk books to give out to their clients because they realize it's a good gift to add value of how they're going to build their hard asset empire. So it's my gift to the world to say, here's what I did. Here's what all my colleagues have done. It's been proven through the test of time. You don't have to guess. It's out there to look at and read. And you'll be able to take courses soon to be able to help you build your hard asset empire. So it's my way to really give back to society to say, here's my legacy is I'm going to teach you how to build wealth. I'm going to teach you how to build generational wealth, but I'm also going to teach you how to defend it and compound it and retain it as well.
Perfect. I love it. So where can people get it if they're interested?
Well, they can go to benreinberg.com/book.
Okay.
And they can pre-order it. It will be on Amazon, I was told, on Monday. So you can order it. Very reasonably priced. We have you can also download for Kindle the ebook that's out there as well. And then eventually, it's my understanding we'll have it in audio as well coming soon to a platform near you. But you will next week we're dropping the book. You'll be able to pick it up, and it's a great investment vehicle for you because all I want you to do is to get one nugget out of it that changes your life and the trajectory of your life, because that's what someone did for me, and I want to do it for someone else. So if you're listening out there, it's a cheap investment because it invests in yourself to build your own hard asset empire. If you're out there, and a lot of Gabe's listener, you're into real estate, you want to invest passively, you want to be active. Well, wouldn't it be nice to have a tool to know how do I, with action steps and visual, to be able to see how to build an empire? Because that's what everyone wants, but no one really teaches it and talks about it. And that's what we did here with this book.
Perfect. All right. Well, with that, I will push us into the quick question round. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Starts with education. Could be any form, could be a conference you've gone to, a movie you've seen, anything like that. I just need two recommendations, one for general life wisdom and then one for real estate.
Well, I mean, general life wisdom, I would say work on yourself, get a mentor, work on yourself, get into personal development. I wish I knew that when I was in my 20s. That was something I learned really well, to become the best version of yourself. That would be number one. As it comes to real estate, I would say if you go on benreinberg.com, we have so much content, or my company, alliancecgc.com. I write a blog to six figures of people every week. The amount of education we give on commercial real estate, especially real estate, and also running a business and how to build equity and raising money from investors, et cetera. We give such a wealth of knowledge, especially if you go to benreinberg.com, you'll be overwhelmed. You can pick different topics. You design a course you want with our new technology coming on. So it is real estate abundant learning if you go to my universe.
Perfect. All right. Next question is for your younger self. Let's go back to the Ben who was just getting started, just thinking about buying that first industrial property so many years ago. Go back to him, look him in the eye, give him one piece of advice moving forward.
I would say, like I said earlier, I would say work on yourself, work on your communication, become a better listener, be more aware of your surroundings, and work on yourself, work on your health. And know that your personal life is going to bleed into your business life. So become the best humanly possible version you can and design the life you and the person you want to become, and become that person.
Yeah, that is good advice for any age, really. Next question is about the U.S. It's a big place. There is a lot of opportunity out there. Give me the single metro you're most excited about investing in today.
Oh, there's a ton. I mean, it depends on the asset class. We do a ton of business in the Southeast and South and Southwest and Mountain West. But it just depends. If it's medical, you buy anywhere. multifamily. I like the growth going on in the South and Southeast. Uh, it really depends. I mean, there's so many good cities that we're in that we invest in between Texas and Florida and Alabama and the Carolinas and, you know, Iowa, wherever, Idaho and Salt Lake City and Phoenix, Tucson, Arizona. I mean, it's endless. So I
A
would
lot of
say
opportunity out there.
there's a lot of opportunity. I would say figure out what asset class you want, and then you can do some research of different cities that are abundant for those type of assets.
All right, perfect. All right, next question is about finding deals. It all starts with getting in contact with the seller and penning that purchase agreement. So, what's your favorite way to generate leads and find new deals?
I'm an old school guy. I'm a shoe leather. I like when I was younger, I would canvas different areas we'd want to be in, and then we document and then we call the seller. I'm a big phone guy. I like the phone. I think picking up the phone is the way to do it. I know people do email and people use text and all this other stuff. The business is a relationship driven business. And that's one of the hardest challenges with software in our business and automation is that it's always been a relationship driven business. I still think it always will be.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a phone guy myself too. I just email. I get tired of it after a while. I'm just like, let's just talk. All right, next question is about lessons learned. Not every deal that we get into goes the way we expect it. In fact, many times things go wrong, but that is an opportunity for us to learn a lesson. So, what was a deal that went a little sideways for you guys? And then what was the lesson you pulled from it?
Well, one thing I talk about, especially talk about my new book, Hard Assets and Hard Money for Hard Times, is over leveraging. I went when I was younger. I put on a mez piece on an office campus I was buying, and it was a tough deal because one of Warren Buffett's tenants, big trucking company, left 2 floors of a huge office campus. It was multiple buildings and 17 acres. It was a behemoth. I was real young, and I learned my lesson: don't over leverage properties because things change, interest rates change, demand change. And the key to commercial real estate is the ability to hold, the ability to hold, the ability to hold, Gabe. And so if I'm in a situation I don't have the ability to hold, I'm at real jeopardy for me and my investors. And so for me to have too much leverage, where it was probably about 88% on a huge office campus, was really stretching it. And so I learned that. I learned not to sign with recourse as well. And so at the end of the day, that one deal served me. We came out fine at the end of the day, but there was a lot of lessons that spun off. And the biggest lesson is don't over leverage your properties that you're acquiring.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what is the LTV that you guys currently underwrite to?
We look at, it depends on the deal. If it's our medical fund, we're usually about 60 to 65% loan to value. That's generally speaking, mostly across the board. We're low leverage. I rather pay investors a lower yield in order to protect the asset.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That has been my biggest lesson to date. It not necessarily don't over leverage, but have more capital than you think you need on the sidelines. I've learned that twice, and it's a hard lesson to learn, but I've learned it, and so I'm never making that mistake again. All right, that leads us to the very last question. This is for the listeners. You've given us a lot to think about. I'm sure people want to reach out, get in contact with you. This is a two-parter. Where can they find you? And then what can they expect when they reach out?
Well, if you go to benreinberg.com, that's the best way. You can follow me on all the different social media platforms. We're very active. For me personally, if you want to get hold of me, go to benreinberg.com, engage with me, get into our universe. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. We're very active on LinkedIn as well. And what you can expect from Ben Reinberg is knowledge and education and giving back. And that's what we do. And also, if you want to invest passively, go to my company, AllianceCGC.com. That's AllianceCGC.com. You can also go to benreinberg.com if you want to invest with us, and we'll shepherd you through the process. We'll interview you, make sure you're a good fit for us, and we're a good fit for you. We don't allow everyone in our universe. It's a very exclusive type club that invests with us. And so at the end of the day, you have to be an accredited investor, but feel free to reach out to us if you're interested in investing passively in commercial real estate. We provide great returns, great tax benefits. And so what you can expect from me, if I had to sum it up, is really the ability to build wealth and the knowledge to build wealth and generational wealth.
Perfect. Ben Reinberg, that is spelled Reinberg. I will also put those links in the show notes. So if you guys want to reach out, all you got to do is click the little more in the description. It'll pull down that full description, and in there you can find Ben's links. All right, Ben, that wraps it up. Thank you very much for hopping on the show.
Great. Thank you so much, Gabe. It was a pleasure to be here, and have a wonderful weekend.
Absolutely. For everybody who's with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. So if you guys have any questions, reach out to me, Gabe at the realestateinvestingclub.com. If you guys want to support the show, just leave us a review. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.